Welcome, race fans, to the 2019 Canadian Flat Track Championships. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we deliver the second half of round 4 from Flamborough Downs in Dundas, Ontario. Brian, we're saying the second half of the night program. Tonight we're going to see Open Expert and DTX Intermediate. And tonight's racing will be brought to you by Parts Canada. At Parts Canada, we support the sport. And Harley-Davidson MasterCard. Get the card, get the cash, get the chrome. Fabs, I know we were talking about Harley-Davidson earlier. They had a huge display on site where you could actually get out and ride a whole bunch of the new Harley models. Talk to me about it.
That's the 2019 Soft Tail Tour. Travis, look at these gorgeous Harley-Davidson motorcycles. They had a wicked booth set up. Get your hair cut, listen to some great tunes, and a riding, simulating motorcycle here to teach new people how to work the clutch on this roller system. It was so much fun. Everyone having a great time. If you got a motorcycle license, you could go for a great guided tour. Beautiful scenery around here and a gorgeous crowd coming in to look at all these wonderful new Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Man, props to Harley. It's a big effort to bring this entourage to the tractor here 2 days so you can come out Saturday before the races and then again Sunday. A beautiful crowd riding beautiful motorcycles.
And Harley-Davidson with a rich history in flat track racing. Now, Brian, let's get to Flamborough Downs. We've talked about the fact that it is a horse racing track, so it is a big, wide facility which allows for dynamite passing and a lot of line choice out there. You see the grooming and some of that grooving, if you will, on the inside.
Travis, the riders are just enamored with this place. So wide, so fast, approaching 160 kilometers an hour, going into turn 1 and turn 3. And like you say, super wide, so they can cut in, crisscross. We're going to see a lot of passing here. Track crews got this surface lubed up real nice to keep the dust down, Travis. It's going to be epic.
Tyler Brown and Bentley Thistleweight, best name in all of flat track, coming out of staging as we get set for DTX Intermediate. And the number 6 of Lambert, your series leader. DTX Intermediate is next. Welcome back to Flamborough Downs in Dundas, Ontario for round 4 of the 2019 Flat Track Championships in Canada. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we get set up for DTX Intermediate. Brian, this is a fantastic class because we always talk about the intermediates as the stepping stone to the expert class. You get a lot of racers in here taking care of their business. Let's have a look at the points in the DTX Intermediate class after 3 of 9 rounds. We talked about Lambert. He is in the lead. Brown in second place. Fitz, Scott, and Kyle Shepard rounding out your top 5. But we've had some great battles in DTX Intermediate, and tonight is going to be exactly the same because we've got a full lineup of guys ready to do battle. You see the number 69 of Kyle Shepard on the inside on that Husqvarna. Remember, it's all about starts, Brian, especially on these big tracks.
Well, it is a big factor in any motorsport to get that start, but there are great passing opportunities here. This first DTX Intermediate race brought to you by Yamaha Canada. The Blue Crew is here in full force, and a great Yamaha demo section also here just to the left of the spectator gallery, and the light goes green. Brad Shepard off to a good jump.
On board with the number 11 of Taya Little with that Alpenstars helmet cam, Brian, as the riders funnel into corner 1 and exit into corner 2. Some huge congestion as they get into that straightaway. The throttles are pinned, Brian, but it looks like the number 119 of Tyler Brown with the whole shot.
But check out the number 6. Lambert is coming in hot. Oh, and a little correction there for Dustin on the inside. Looks like Travis, he has the lead momentarily, but that Honda of Brown just comes by, and they are neck and neck into turn 1.
Looks like Bosvert got a dynamite start too, and as we are seeing Brown back into second place, Bosvert in third, and our series leader number 6, Lambert, in first.
Gabriel Bosvert out of Quebec, a really likable young French-Canadian, struggling with his English, boy, but his throttle hand, it speaks volumes.
The number 119 of Brown having a hard time on that thick cushion on the outside, Brian. And look at that Bosvert on the KTM that slides into second place.
Yeah, you can see the water truck had a little bit of a leak there. There's a little pooling and puddling on that outside line. Going to make visibility very difficult for the riders behind. This gravel shoots up a wicked roost, and right now the number 11 of Beeks is eating it.
He certainly is, but he's tucked himself nicely into 4th place as we see Lambert, Bosvert. Oh, what a nice line on the inside for Beeks. I just love the crisscross.
Man, and he is pressuring for 3rd as they open these throttles right up into turn 1. Crowd on their feet around the corner. There is Beeks with the pink helmet and footwear there.
Wow.
Makes a move. Brown gets sucked way out into that soft stuff on the top cushion. Loses a little bit of drive and power. But look at him push in. So aggressive. Tries around the outside. Look at what is it? Rider down.
That is the number 909 of Roderick Scott. Brian looked like he was trying to work that inside line and maybe caught on that little taper you were talking about.
Oh, and down he goes, pushing it up to the side. I think his night's done. Love this sport with all these leathers that the riders wear for the added protection. Some guys wearing converted motocross gear. Most guys wearing the full leather race suit.
Brian, look who's made it up into the mix. That's the Kawasaki of Thistleweight now in 5th place. Brown back to 4th, Beeks up to 3rd, and there's our leaders moving away from the pack.
Little look back there from Lambert, seeing how close his company is. A battle for 5th is raging on. But here it is, 1st and 2nd on screen. Boesvert on that KTM 450. We got Lambert up there on the Honda.
Wow, look at the inside line for Lambert as he gets into that full slide package. Boesvert running the full freight train through here, Brian. Now he's going outside far too far.
Oh, looked like Lambert had a little peek under his elbow there on the inside. Where's Boesvert? He's on the outside. Check this out. It is close company, working it, correcting, overcorrecting. They come in at great speeds like we were talking about earlier in the show. No front brake on these motorcycles as they just dive in. Look at the background going by, little look over. Lambert staying composed, trying to get his hook up.
Absolutely amazing how the riders are using all the track. Look at Boesvert on the inside and pushes Lambert wide and takes the lead with a dynamite pass. But you know in this sport, you cannot rest on your laurels, Brian. You have to stay on the gas and get traction.
Boesvert with a nice move. Like we say, young rider for Quebec, struggling a little bit with speaking English, but boy, has he ever got the body English figured out here on the bike. Look at that slide and lean. Now, these are 450 converted motocrossers. They're lowered. They get to run that big down pipe for max horsepower, but it's the handlebar bend as well. That's a big difference here to give these guys the leverage handling these motorcycles sideways at such great speed.
And the one thing that's kind of interesting is we always talk about line choice and how important line choice is with racing. Well, nowhere else is it more important than in flat track racing because you got to know when to dive, when to cut, when to slide. It's so important.
And you got to know when to hold them and fold them too, buddy. And that most part, let's see if he can hang on here. Last lap. See if the young French-Canadian can take out Dustin Lambert.
Interesting in terms of the point chase, Brian. Lambert is in the lead. Boesvert hasn't run every single one of the races so far, so he's in catch-up mode. But this is a statement right now for him.
It really is. What a dynamite ride. But Lambert from Welland, Ontario, rides that clay really well. So all these tracks at Flat Track Canada comes through little different surfaces. Boesvert takes it. Lambert a solid second, though. I think both these riders are going to be pretty stoked on their night's work.
Man, the battling is so intense in the intermediate class. I just can't get over how tight they are. And the other thing, too, is that we talked about getting the experience, Brian. You see great camaraderie out in the track.
Yeah.
They're getting it tonight. Now, let's get to our top 10 in that DTX intermediate. Boesvert is your winner. Lambert in second. Beeks had a great battle with Brown. Little up to 5th. Thistleweight's Kawasaki's in 6th. Phipps, Shepard, Ram, and Danduran. Fabs in the impact.
Intermediate winner Gabriel Bosford from Quebec. Gabe, what a ride here at Flamborough. Good job.
Thank you.
Who are some sponsors you want to thank?
I want to thank all my sponsors, du Moulin Compétition, Festidrag.tv, L'Entête Salon, Stratégique, MD Distribution, Super Trap, mon père, tout le monde qui nous aide, donc un gros merci.
Awesome, well done. We'll see you in the main.
Thank you.
2 points in the DTX intermediate standings after 4 of 9 rounds. Lambert is in the lead over Brown, Phipps, Shepard, and Scott. But a nice little battle all the way down to 9th place with Corbier and Taya Little in 10th. Okay, Brian, here we go. The big boys, the premier class, are in staging right now. The 24 of Hunter Bauer, and a nice look at the framers, Brian. Those custom frames with those big engines.
Yeah, these bikes are special. They have offset foot pegs. They are made to go around in circles at great speeds.
Welcome back to Flamborough Downs in Dundas, Ontario for round 4 of the 2019 Canadian Flat Track Championships. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we see a great line pan of our open expert riders. Brian, this is the premier class. This is what we've been waiting for all night long. This is the big show, and there is the number 1 of Dustin Brown, who is leading the points in this class, and a great shot of his KBR framer. Now, earlier in the evening, Fabs, we had a dash for cash. Short sprint race, winner take all, 6 riders on the line. Got to get a good start in this one.
And these guys all qualified through night heat races for this. They took the top finishers, narrowed it down to these 6, and Brown gets a nice start on the numero uno. But check out the 46 of Brody Buchan, our 2017 champion, switching to Kawasaki. Got a great hole shot.
And Sagan on the inside was busting Brown wide, and look at that line for Sagan as he just forced Brown to the outside. Buchan in the lead with that very odd exhaust system.
Yeah, that Kawasaki's putting down some ponies. Tyler Seguin, never to be underestimated, the number 22 out of Welland, Ontario. When he is on, he is capable of winning this class, showing his skills right now. Brown in the roof zone is getting pummeled there on the number 1. Seguin, I'm liking him on that Yamaha. He's looking like the danger man.
Interesting to see a race with the number 1 of Brown not in the lead, Brian, so this is not a familiar spot for him. I think I saw the number 15 of Captain America, that's Chris Evans, getting into the mix. Man, you got to get on the gas and get it going quickly in this dash for cash.
Wow, what a move by Evans to get by Brown. Did he ever feint to the outside? Just changed direction so rapidly to get on the inside. And at 56 years old, man, oh man, this guy has got some skills. Check out Seguin with that steel shoe down. Starting to pressure. We got a 4-pack for this cash.
Evans is coming in 3rd place as Bucket goes by and gets his last lap flag. Brian, I love the cat and mouse of this game. This flat track racing, unbelievable. Look at Evans on the end. 3-pack for the lead, Brian. This Bucket comes through.
Oh my gosh. Bucket went so wide, but carrying the speed from the outside. Just split those 2 challengers. But here comes Evans. Harley Davidson America rider. Wow. Sliding and an icon in Canadian flat track. It is Buchan taking home the bacon. Wow, what an awesome little sprint dash that was.
You better believe it. So a short, quick race. Buchan gets a little more experience out on the track. As we get to our open expert point standings after 3 of 9 rounds, you see Buchan down in 8th place. Maybe he can use a little bit of that panache to get himself up into the mix because Brown, Sagan, Poulat, and Evans, they're taking care of business. Interesting. Track grooming before the race starts, getting that line set up because you really want to get the tire on the ground, Brian, and get that traction going right out of the green light.
Just like the riders do behind the gate in motocross, prepping the launch pad. They're allowed to do a little bit of smoothing and packing here, and that just helps the riders get a little bit more traction down instead of spinning in that loose gravel. And you can see their gear completely covered in roost. It looks like they've been hit by a plaster gun. Save that little window around their visor. This final pro open race brought to you by Honda. Remember, Travs, ride red.
Oh, get your wings and ride red, Brian. Open expert on the line, Brian. Now waiting for the light to go green. You see the Christmas tree to your right. Yellow, yellow, green. And here they go, Brian, coming off the line. Coming into corner number 1. Who's going to get that whole shot?
Bit of a wheelie there for the 15 of Evans, and look at the size of this crowd. Flat Track Canada alignment well with the pro riders down the back straight for the very first time. It is our points leader and defending champion, Dustin Brown, who rides with a quiet maturity, Travs. This kid's very unique.
Under the lights at Flamborough Downs, Brian Coster and Mark Travers delivering open expert flat track racing. Hunter Bauer on the 24 is in 3rd place, and look at Buchan and Evans going at it tooth and nail, if you will, for 3rd.
Crafty Evans came in there, forced Buchan into a little mistake going wide. Now he gets by the 24 of Bauer. Bauer, at 14 years of age, is learning every single time. And to follow a rider like Chris Evans, that is huge. He's ducking out of that roost. Now, these riders get low on the straightaway. Aerodynamics, it does up the miles an hour. So you see them initiate their slide. They start to get out and open up onto that straightaway, and they like to lower that head down just to get in the tuck.
Now, this open expert race, Brian, is 15 laps, so there's a little bit more time for things to develop compared to that dash for cash. But with the number 1 of Brown out in familiar position in the lead. These other riders are going to have to try to find ways to cut those seconds down.
Bauer in third with one hand. That also helps increase their aerodynamics. Less drag, so they get into that tuck. Remember, on that inside left foot, basically running a steel shoe. They drag that around. Check this guy out. Wow, a thing of beauty. Aggressive on the inside, elbows up, holding that slide is Chris Evans. Big honking front tire to get some grip, and that front wheel crash is a big form of braking as they throw it into the slide. They push that front end to slow the motorcycles down into these corners.
Interesting, we go back to our first round, and Welland, Brian, it was Evans and Brown that were battling for the lead. Nice to see Evans back in the mix, and it's interesting to watch line choice between our first and second place riders here. Brown seems to be using that upper end, that pillow up on the cushion, and Evans likes it on the inside.
Yeah, they are mixing it up a little bit, and remember, you want to stay out of that roof zone. Gorgeous shot of that Kurt Beaker Racing Honda with the number 1 out of Northern Hamilton. Kurt Beaker, an iconic tuner in the sport. Battling hard there. It is Seguin and the 46 of Buchan at it again, just like the Dash for Cash.
Buchan looking great on that Kawasaki. You're right, Brian, getting a lot of power. Oh, my goodness, look at the line on the inside for the number 22 of Tyler Seguin. But Buchan will have none of as he pushes him wide through the straight.
Oh, the 22 of Seguin out of tear-offs. He is using the finger windshield wiper there on his lens. So Buchan gets by, but Seguin showing his racecraft. Boy, these bikes seem equally matched on that back straight.
I love body position on the motorcycle, getting weight on that rear tire, Brian, especially in the straightaways. You talked about the speed and then breaking into the corners and using the whole motorcycle to turn.
And Buchan's got issues with his tear-offs. There, the yellow helmet. You can see the clear film back and forth, back and forth. And as a rider, you hear that inside your head. You hear that film tapping. It's a little annoying. And there goes Seguin.
Good riders, Brian, will take advantage of mistakes. And we just saw a mistake from Buchan there. Sagan on the inside stayed on the throttle. Buchan got a little bit loose, and now the position has been made, and that's 4th place.
As Dustin Brown pulling it out a little bit as the race winds down. Battle is so hot here for 4th between Seguin and Buchan. And my favorite shot is these riders coming into turn 3. Just coming up, you can really see the speed. Look at the background, just whistling by at 100 miles an hour. They toss it sideways. This is so thrilling. You want to get yourself out to a flat track Canada race and take it in person. It's so awesome. You can sit in nice, comfortable seats and see the entire track unfold, have dinner, order some drinks. Very civilized.
Well, and the interesting thing too, Brian, is that guys and gals love to race motorcycles, and there's all kinds of different disciplines of racing, motocross, on the road, but flat track racing is so intense because it's so tight and it's right in front of you the whole night.
It's such a thrilling program, and Flat Track Canada runs such a tight ship. As a spectator at a live event, there's races running one after the other. We can see Brown getting into lap traffic there, having a bit of a moment as he maintains a nice lead.
Well, interesting point too about lap traffic, because we know in races getting through lappers can be difficult. So right now Evans has to go through just as clean as Brown did so he can maintain that gap and maybe find a second or two in these corners. But Brown is almost invincible, Brian, and has been all season long.
See how early he gets his foot back up on that peg and just uses his core to turn the motorcycle and get that grip down. Look, he's feet on the pegs and he's still got her pretty sideways. What technique, man. And these bikes are very special. Unlike DTX where they're converted motocrossers, these are specialty frame-up motorcycles made for flat track, and they really get some good lap times.
Well, when you see these framers out on the track, Ryan, I'm totally interested in how the suspension's set up and how minute the changes are to keep that bike from chattering. These are super light bikes relative to their size, and I love the fact that you told me that some of these frames are over 25 years old. They just keep reconditioning them and sending them out on the track.
Yeah, absolutely, because technology, it's a circle on a track, and these bikes, once they're set up, they got their geometry right for this style of racing, they stick with them. So a lot of these motorcycles have a huge history behind them, ridden by past champions, some of them up from the States, some in Canada. Dustin Brown showing why he has that #1 plate draw styling.
Brown got the whole shot. He's been leading wire to wire. You just saw the 2 flags up from our head referee signaling 2 laps. He's coming in now to get his last lap flag, Brian. Elbow out, dynamite style. Evans is nowhere in sight. This is Brown's race.
My goodness, what a dynamic young man Now, we still have many rounds to go, so let's see how Brown fares at some of the other venues. But right now, Travis, he has got the confidence, and you cannot put a price tag on that coming in to a race weekend knowing that you've just won the last couple. You've got these guys' numbers. You are the man to beat.
Well, confidence is everything, Brown. We know that in all forms of racing, but specifically right now with a young man like Brown, who has the lead coming in and taking the checkered flag and winning the Open Expert here at round 4 in Dundas, Ontario. A fantastic win for Brown and a great race early on. Things started to separate, but we have an absolute beauty here in Flamborough. Woo! Welcome back, race fans, to round 4 of the 2019 Canadian Flat Track Championships. This is Flamborough Downs in Dundas, Ontario, and there is your winner, the number 1 of Brown, and Kurt Beeger, the legendary tuner, getting to run that checkered flag. Let's get to our top 10 in Open Experts. As we see, Brown was your runaway winner. Chris Evans, then Hunter Bauer with a great ride in 3rd. Sagan and Bucket had a dynamite battle. They go 4-5. Higgins in 6th. Jimmy the Jet McCullough in 7th. Pouliot, Marin, Tet, and Sagan. Babs.
Near perfect night tonight for the number 1, our defending champion, Dustin Brown. Dustin on this Honda this season. Boy, oh boy, you did not set a wheel wrong tonight. Pretty much a clean sweep, and in all the motos that mattered and all the heats that mattered, you look dynamite.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've been working really hard with Kurt and with Honda Canada and just have the perfect setup, it seems like, going into every race and feeling more confident on these bikes every time.
Seasoned pro rider Chris Evans, hot all night long throughout the entire program, coming in 2nd behind Dustin Brown. You got to be pretty pleased with your performance here tonight, Chris.
Yeah, I was feeling kind of under the weather, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but and I got here and things were, the bike was working good and I felt good. I just thought, do I have enough wind in my sails to go 15 laps? And with about the last 4 or 5, we're getting pretty dicey. I was making some good mistakes.
14-year-old Hunter Bauer riding like a seasoned pro out there. Hunter, some great lines. 3rd place out on turn 4, going wide in that cushion every lap. It looked like you were getting some great hookup.
Yeah, I was. I started to get my ankle started to get a little sore, and I started to lose speed, and then I told myself I needed to catch back up, and it worked for me.
Let's get to our points in the Open Expert class. After 4 of 9 rounds, Brown is starting to pull away from Sagan. Evans is looking good in 3rd place, and you got Pouliot, Bauer, and Jimmy the Jet. A couple of those riders going to have to start getting on the gas if they want to catch up to the big number 1. Okay, Fab, it's been a great night here in Dundas.
Totally entertaining. Check out Flat Track Canada's Facebook page and get out to a race. Come out, ride that Harley Softail Tour. You won't regret it.
You have been watching the 2019 Canadian Flat Track Championships. Brought to you by Parts Canada. At Parts Canada, we support the sport. And Harley-Davidson MasterCard. Get the card, get the cash, get the chrome. For the entire Flat Track Canada crew, Hills Production Services, Brian Coster, I'm Mark Travers. We'll see you next week on the 2019 Flat Track Championships.